Hi YouTube. We are back with a new tutorial to create an illusion text effect with Blender and animate it. As usual, the full scene is available on my Patreon. Please join and become a fan. This tutorial was inspired by a tutorial from CG Shortcuts. I wanted to show you everything is possible with Blender and its magical geometry nodes. Let's start. Add a text object. To edit the text, you must choose the edit mode. We'll use C4D for our first text. And duplicate our text and choose Pro. Then we assign the right font. I used a bold font. The tricky part here is make sure the letters touch each other, so we have to remove the gap between them. Make sure you do the same for the another text. We extrude our text objects and rotate one of them 90 degrees. Now everything is ready to merge these text objects and create an illusion text effect. We create a collection and put the text objects inside them, and now convert the duplicated ones into a mesh. Unfortunately, there is no procedural way to do this with Blender, but of course you can always edit our texts with the backup ones. We add a Boolean modifier to merge these texts and convert them into one unique object. We need to set the Boolean mode to intersect and enable self-intersection option. If you see, we got something close to what we are looking for, but honestly, that's crap. This happens because we don't have enough faces on our geometry. The first thing we must do is remesh our text objects and then use a Boolean modifier. And I will use a free plugin which is called Quad Remesher. As you can see, when we remesh our object, there are some gaps. It seems Blender fails to merge the vertices of text letters very well when we convert them. Merge by distance and choose merge by distance and set the distance to the lowest value. Do the same for the other one. Now when we remesh our text objects, we get something relatively nice. Let's disable the Detect Hard Edges and increase the number of polys inside our Quad Remesher plugin. Let's add a Boolean modifier and repeat the previous steps again. We will improve that by geometry nodes later on. I suggest you apply the Boolean modifier for a fast viewport workflow. Now you are here. Please join my Patreon to get access to all 3D scenes in Blender Falls for free. For this part, we need to shade smooth our object. Then open the Geometry Nodes panel to add our desired node. First node we need is Mesh to Volume. Then we need to use a Volume to Mesh node. It will act as Volume Builder and Volume Mesher inside Cinema 4D. Then we need to smooth out our shape. To do so, we use a Set Position node. Add a Blur attribute and a Position node. The Blur attribute node will act as SDF Smooth operator inside Cinema. If we increase the right value inside our blur attribute, you can see we get a really smooth object. Unfortunately, Blender removed the value from Mesh to Volume node, which is called Exterior Band, which we could use to make the text look thicker. This could act as Dilate operator and Volume Builder of Cinema 4D. There's still another way to do so, but I guess the result is fine for this tutorial. For the bonus part, I will explain a quick tip to adjust the animation curve for rotation of our text. As you can see, I will try to recreate this, the animation be faster at the end. To do so, let's remove the old parent. We put our text mesh inside an empty object and make that parent Then, if we rotate the empty object, the text rotates. We need only 90 frames for this scene. We rotate the empty object by 90 degrees. Just make sure the animation curve is set to Bezier. Then we try to adjust the curve. By default, the first frames and end frames will be slow and the frames in the middle will be fast. We want to make the end frames fast too. Another tip to achieve what I showed you in the first place, adding some random rotation. I just wanted to show you how you can do this with geometry nodes. I have explained this in depth on my Patreon. Finally, for the material, I achieved this cool material by using some textures. However, you can do this by using a mix of noise and Voronoi texture for bumps and roughness. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Please share and subscribe to my YouTube channel.